With how defense in the AI is so far this year, a lot of people have been needing some help. So with this video, I'm going to be going over some tips to help improve your defense instantly in college football 25. All right, let's get it. Now, when you're in the defensive formation at the bottom of the screen, by moving the right stick to the left or right, you can tell the game what type of shell you want to come out in, regardless of your play call. So this can disguise the coverage you're in to confuse your opponent. It goes back to the general idea of you don't want to run what it looks like you're about to run pre-snap. So if I, let's say, pick a cover 0 shell where it will have the safeties over top of the wideouts if there are any slot guys, but I'm actually in a cover 3. The opponent might see this and go, okay man, so drag here, slant here, curl out over here, and all the while they're playing against a cover 3 defense. Stuff like this can confuse your opponent and make them think you're running something and adjusting to it that you are not running at all. Two-man deep safety looks, while actually being in the zone of some sort, are also dangerous for the offense as well. You can show a 2 deep safety look and they go, okay, I can probably get something to the sideline since it's probably man, and all of a sudden the safety flashed down for an interception. In a 2-man shell, you can confuse them even more playing with the inside and outside leverage for your cornerbacks, but you're really in cover 2. You never want what your pre-snap look to actually be what the play is too consistently. Your first option to change is auto flip defensive play call. You want to make sure this is set to on, so your defense adjusts to whatever formation the offense comes out in, and you're not terribly outnumbered in certain areas and not have a defender all the way out of the play for no reason. The next option is for cornerback matchups. And cornerback matchups in college football 25 allow you to sort out your cornerbacks against their wideouts based on different things to best match up against a particular team's offense. You can sort by overall rating, which matches your highest rated cornerback against their top receiver, and continues down the list. This ensures that your best defenders are covering their top offensive threats according to the game's rating. Matchup by speed is beneficial if you're facing a team filled with deep threats. You can sort by height against teams that rely on jump balls or have tall receivers to better contest high passes. Match up with your man coverage against their route running if you plan on playing a lot of man to help make sure you have your best cover corners on their best guys to cover their routes. And lastly, you can match up by depth chart, which leaves your matchups based on the depth chart order. So if you prefer your best cornerback to always play on a specific side of the field or in the slot, this is your setting. And note, if you're playing man or zone, your cornerbacks will still match up in front of their appropriate matchup based on what settings you put it on. Next, we got defensive motion response, which you want to set this to default so your defender will always move and not get outflanked on a common motion by a player. The next 2 sections will determine how you want option plays to go against you. First is read option plays. This tells the guy the offense will read, the guy with the R above his head, whether he should play the running back and crash down, leaving the QB open, or play the quarterback and stay, leaving the running back open. Of the 2 options, you're always going to want to opt for conservative, so you force them to hand it off to the back, because the other option of letting the QB take it allows him to the perimeter, where less of your defenders are, and as a result, obviously way more big plays can happen like this. And the next one is for pitch plays, and you want to set your option defense pitch key to aggressive, so your pitch defender will run towards the running back, forcing the QB to run and more likely to fumble if they don't slide. And they're expecting the pitches, so you might get a freebie here and they'll still toss it. For strip the ball and big hits, it's like, okay, nobody gets tackled anyway, so you can set these whatever you want. Next, we got your zone drops, where you can tell your defenders to drop as short as 0 yards from the line of scrimmage all the way to 30 down the field. And the first zone drop covers the flat areas. And the zone assignments, hard flats, cloud flats, and soft squat zones are under this umbrella. And you will see these assignments attached to cornerbacks on the outside in cover 2 coverages. But you can manually change any of the defensive back assignments to at least one of these 3 assignments so they'll still be covered by double tapping triangle or Y on your controller. And then the receiver they're covering, and then move the left stick in any of the assignment's directions that will fall under zone drop flats. Or you can personally move on to that player, hitting A or X if you're on Xbox, and again moving the left stick towards the correct assignment. So defensive ends and linebackers can also be changed to one of these assignments. so they will still be able to fall under this umbrella and be able to carry out the zone drop distance you have this set for. The next one is for curl flats, so that will cover the curl flats, quarter flats, and seam flat zone assignments. And these assignments are attached to slot corners, defensive ends, linebackers, who depending on which side of the center he is on will direct where his curl flat assignment will go. So you can get tricky with this. And it also affects safeties, as they can be hot routed to at least one of these 3 routes with the same process I went over before. So this zone drop affects the defenders inside of the outside corners, who can affect sideline coverages as well, working off of what the cornerback is doing. Or you can even play him at 0 yards and lock down any short pass to the running back or drag by a slot receiver, or even screen passes because you're selling out to stop anything short. But of course, doing so, you're giving up huge spaces right behind you to be exploited. And the last one is for hook zones, so hook curls, 3 rec hooks, middle reads, and vertical hooks. With these assignments, take note of the paths different defenders will take while in any of these zones. So even if they are all told to go 10 yards deep, they can still take different paths, and this can also affect everybody inside the outside cornerbacks. You can build a nice zone defense that covers different parts well with who has which assignments for the different parts of the field you have set here. Now, there are a few ways you can help stop the run in College Football 25 and just pray the game doesn't cheat you. The first is against shotgun runs. You can help yourself greatly by lining up your defensive line so you always have a lineman to the outside shoulder of the guard and tackle on the opposite side of where the run is. So if your running back is on the right, slide your line to the left, and if he's on the left, slide it to the right. Reason being, you want him to shed right into the path of the back, or at least take up space. If this area is free of a big body, the back can easily slide right in this gap. This forces them to cut back closer to the middle or hope to kick it wide. Now, probably the most important rating for off-ball players to defend the run is play recognition. Guys with anything 85 or above just react so much better and faster against the run, filling in the gaps better than most. The problem is majority of the players in the game at linebackers play rec ratings are terribly low. So that's why you get terrible run defense, because they don't react on time. To help this problem, you can play the lower play rec linebackers closer to the line of scrimmage, so all they have to do is block shed. With the run game being as powerful as it is, you have to get creative when it comes to stopping them. One of those ways on short yardage situations is run blitzing, which just means your linebackers are blitzing to fill all the possible gaps the back can run into as quickly as possible and even get penetration into the backfield. This helps negate, like I just went over, the low play rec linebackers who take forever to notice it's a run. Another way to help defeat the run game is switching to the defensive line as soon as you read it's a run play, and performing a move on the offensive line to get an instant block shed. This is much harder to pull off on a consistent basis, but in short yardage situations can be a game changer. And if it looks like they're about to turn the corner on you and all else has failed, dive as fast as you can to hopefully trip them up and slow them down. Now remember, because you're going to be doing this a lot and need to very quickly, but hitting Y or triangle once on your controller will allow you to adjust your whole secondary by telling them what different shells you want them to play, or if you want to play press or off coverage, and if in man coverage, what direction you want to shade towards. Now if you hit Y or triangle twice, you can adjust individual players. These controls can help you greatly against the no huddle, as you're able to get a bunch of needed adjustments in a quick time. If running quarterbacks are giving you trouble, one way to help yourself is playing a QB spy. But make sure your QB spy is at least nearly 80 speed or up, or else the running QB will easily outrun them. So maybe put backup DNs at D tackle who won't get pancaked instantly to get speed all over, and spy one of them, or your fast DN. A good number of running QB players surprisingly crumble when you just throw out a simple QB spy. One of the keys to having a great defense in college football and Madden is making the guy that you control feared in the passing game with your ability to cause mayhem and create turnovers. Such ability should be able to make up for weaknesses in a certain coverage you just called with your ability to play like a prime Brian Urlacher, Patrick Willis hybrid. Now you notice why I said 2 linebackers? Because you have to get off the defensive line if you play defense this way. You're giving up such a major advantage with the user's ability to go off script, all to help boost the pass rush that's honestly pretty dominant in this game already. If you're nervous of messing up, pick a coverage and control whoever has the hook curl assignment, as this is the spot that you're able to cause the most damage to the offense without having too much responsibility like the safety or corner, or not enough like an underneath sideline defender. Your user ability will also help in route recognition. If your opponent comes out in a certain formation or runs a certain play, we know that if this play isn't a touch pass, that there will be a wheel route behind it, and we can jump all over it. Now, to take your user ability to the next level, there's been a mechanic added that's new to football games this year, and it's one of the most revolutionary features in College Football 25 that will change how you play defense forever, and it's the switch stick, which lets players quickly switch to another defender during the play to make a play on the ball. Before, you had to choose a spot to patrol and do your best to cover it, hoping they threw it in your area. Now you can switch to a different area you might see be under attack more. So you can see how this can become bad news for the offense. They think a corner route is about to become wide open, and all of a sudden, the receiver clearing out the corner deep isn't doing that anymore because you just switched on and broke up the pass. Knowing the defense can do this just causes hesitation for the offense in general if they know you have this in your bag. A huge skill gap has been introduced with this one. So to use the switch stick effectively, you just flick the right stick towards the defender you want to switch to attack an area that you can't with your original defender. So if you aim to the left or right and the cornerback is the next closest to you, to your left or right, you will switch to that corner, for example. You also must not hesitate when you switch and already be moving in your desired direction. So if you're trying to switch on to somebody on the right sideline, you know the direction you need to be moving in. So keep your finger on the left stick so you move immediately and not waste precious seconds. Mastering this feature can elevate your defensive play and make you a headache in College Football 25. When defending deep balls, there are two different ways you can limit its effectiveness against you. Assuming you're not working with a severe speed mismatch, the first thing you must always make sure of is once the ball is in the air, that if the receiver is positioned inside of you or outside, to not let their shoulder closest to you get in front of yours. When that happens, they control everything. When your shoulder is in front of theirs, you essentially are blocking them from getting in front and can control the speed at which you both get to the ball. Instead of going for the ball immediately, make sure you have better positioning over them first to box them out before you go for the ball. Now, when using, some of the easiest picks you can have the chance of getting is picking off running back screens. You will be shocked, but it's super easy to tell when they're about to happen by staring at the middle of the field as soon as the ball is snapped. And you see out the corner of your eye that little quick one step by the back before he starts running in the screen's direction. When you notice this, it's your opportunity to run as fast as you can through traffic for the potential interception. Or hit B or circle to switch to a defensive lineman and try to get in the passing lane. When your opponent is running on the perimeter, if you click in your right stick, it will send the nearest defender, usually the flat defender after the quarterback, to hopefully get him down. Now beware when you do that, obviously it opens up whoever they're recovering, if they're recovering anybody at all. But if they're about to leave somebody open, you can just pick them up with your user control player. In tandem with your zone drop adjustments, you can bring up your settings and have your zones play to the first down line as a catch-all setup. But we'll always open yourself up for short stuff since everybody's playing deep. Now, if you have a feeling your opponent is going to pass or run in a certain direction, it's not as powerful as it used to be, but you can pass or run commit by holding RB or R1 on your controller and then flicking your right stick in the desired direction for what you think they're about to do. It's still risky if you guess wrong and give up a big play, but very beneficial if you are correct. Now, this one is definitely a duh, but there are a lot of college football players out there who don't know every player in the game, or even 5% of the players they're covering or chasing down. Like, dang, this quarterback on Alabama kind of fast type stuff. But before the game, check out what ratings they're working with. Who's their fastest wideout? Do they have a fast wideout? Important stuff you need to know so you're calling plays with this information in mind. At the play call screen, when you hit L2 or LT on your controller, you can access your audibles for that formation. Here, I want you to set up some different plays here, like your favorite zone blitz or a different man defense. Because when the offense goes no huddle mode, they know you didn't change your audibles and have the default cover 3, cover 2, and 2-man underplays. So this gives you more ammo during a no huddle situation where everything seems to be going at 100 miles an hour. So, all right, sports gamers, do you agree with the list? And if not, what's a tip you feel others should know on the defensive side of the ball that has helped you out? Leave it in the comments down below. And stay tuned here at Sports Gamers Online for more College Football 25 content. And once you're with us, hit that bell icon at the bottom so you don't miss anything we put out. All right, people, I'm Chris. Thank you all for watching, and be good, y'all.